Our presenter this morning is Ms. Jacqueline Powell, and she is the founder of Powell to Empower, which is helping individuals and organizations with their motivational speaking. So we are excited to hear from you. I will hand it over. Let's welcome Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Powell, everyone.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and hang out in your community this morning. I am actually an organizer with the 1 Million Cups in West Fallujah. So if anybody wants to drive up 429, a good distance up by 4, almost most of the way to Daytona Beach, come on and hang out with us up there. So yes, I am Jacqueline Powell, and maybe I'm thinking, there we are. So I started my coaching business in October. I left the corporate world after there. And my favorite part of my coaching or my corporate job was I covered half the country in sales and also worked with a number of different companies around the globe for our US production. And I had to do all of our pricing, logistics, and everything like that. But my favorite part was being able to work with different sales teams throughout half the country. Travel in, be a road warrior with a sales rep, meet an entire sales team, figure out where their struggles are, help them better their relationship with their buyers regardless of what they were doing. And I was like, this is my favorite part. How do I take that and make it into something? And as much of a struggle as it is to not be in that realm at all. I was in the wine industry, so yes, I can offer some incredible pairings. I know a lot of stuff. I am not a sommelier by any stretch of the imagination. But I wasn't in that realm to begin with, so I left the corporate world and started a completely new area. So I love being a communication coach. I actually by Step Up for Students to coach public speaking for homeschool students. I have students from Miami to Tampa to Jacksonville online. As we all know, we have to still learn to present in a box. Being able to present in front of a group is one thing. It's a little bit different being able to present in your laptop square and still being very effective as well. So I'm honored that I'm able to help influence the next generation that's stuck in a screen down here and being able to encourage eye contact, standing tall, and having gestures. I also love being up in front of a group and delivering powerful keynote speeches. I work with companies. That's my new area. It's a new venture. I was actually started my business, and my focus was going to be working with women online, overcoming challenges. I pull from my own experience, and full disclosure, my experiences are divorced twice and had to start my life over 3 times. I am originally from Canada, and I moved to the States in 2001. Had to reinvent myself. I was on a sports visa. The sports world took a turn, and that's how I entered into the corporate world, as I did all my own paperwork to get onto a green card. And as of 2019, I became a citizen, so y'all are stuck with me now. That's how we go. So, thank you. I'm excited that I get to say I'm living the American dream. I have done my own paperwork. I'm here. I am loving it. I joke that I might have been born in Canada, but I was born to live in Florida. This is my home. Central Florida has my heart. So, but I promised my parents no further south. This is as far as I go. So, and another thing that I guess people have been mentioning to me is being able to come in and be a third party for meetings, as being, coming into different corporations and trying that. So I don't have that much experience in it outside of I can run a really good meeting. When you go into another company, you don't have a bias to anyone in particular. So being able to sit there and be the neutral party, or as I joke, I still play Canada. We don't take a side yet. So my Canadian roots are still strong unless it's involved in hockey or maple syrup. There's my lines. Although this Olympics, I was America. So as I mentioned, I am navigating new waters, and that's where my challenge is I don't have a lot of contacts that I can pull from my corporate side that are here in Florida or kind of even in the Southeast. I covered the Dakotas all the way to Oklahoma and then over to New Jersey for sales. And eventually I would love to be able to get out there. However, navigating these new connections and trying to has been my biggest challenge. I'm posting on social media. I am doing all that I can to prove myself in a whole new realm, but that still is proving, It's a slow burn. I get that it's not a marathon and things aren't going to happen in my 7 months of being on my own right now. So what I've done is I'm attending connecting and networking events. I am a volunteer through 4-H for the youth group, so I work with the youth ambassadors to help them with their public speaking. They have public speaking competitions as well. I am a member of the Florida Farm Bureau. I absolutely love and thrive and believe in our agriculture business for Florida. That is, I grew up in the agricultural industry back home in Canada and was very important to my life, so being able to connect those roots again here. I did a speech, the keynote speech this past Saturday for the Florida Farm Bureau Women's Breakfast, and that was absolutely incredible. So I'm trying to get my name out there and being a volunteer where I can. Obviously, 1 Million Cups is near and dear to my heart, and I encourage everyone to participate. I also am an area director with Toastmasters, all these incredible organizations that I'm very proud to be a part of. I'm an area director and president, vice president membership. So I put all these pieces in place to try and help me launch my business. And now I'm kind of at that next level where I'm seeking some guidance in what to do next. Is there networking events that happen in Orlando? And Orlando has a lot of really big conferences. Is there anything that I should, I guess, get connected to for people that run them, or tourism stuff? I love being in front of a group. I love being able to share other people's message, my message. I focus a lot on mental resilience. I do have a keynote speech that I've built specifically for law enforcement. So I definitely look for some connections or some help with law enforcement. I think they're one of that I say I get to live the American dream by, and one of them, they enable me to live the American dream. So that's part of my speech, is being so that is basically me in the nutshell, trying to keep it to the 6 minutes, but is my ask is if there's just different suggestions as to what somebody can connect me with, or make recommendations, or I guess filter it down some more. I want to be like a little bit more visible in the Orlando area. It's a work in progress, so yeah.
Jacqueline, everyone. Wow, you are under 6 minutes. Very good.
The value of time.
Yeah.
I'll hand the controller back.
You've done this before.
Time or two.
You're a farmer, or you used to be a farmer, or you love farmers?
I grew up in the equestrian industry, so yeah, my parents still have a horse farm, but all of my neighbors and half of my graduating class was beef, dairy, hog, chicken. We had bison farm or crops. So that was Southern Ontario, the east side of Toronto.
Nice, nice. I
County is
have
a great
7
place to
acres,
be.
so.
Yeah.
All right, she's
Awesome.
got her asks up here. Let's get some feedback, you guys. Let's help Jacqueline out.
Oh, and I have, do you want me to leave the ask up or the
Yeah,
content?
leave the ask up, yeah.
Yeah.
What do we have? Betsy, what exactly is the ask? The ask is recommended networking or connecting groups, right, Jacqueline?
Absolutely.
So you're looking for places to speak at?
That, or yeah, definitely, or I guess connecting to, if there's other organizations that I could be a part of and just connect with to help grow my reach for working with businesses, coaching. Like I said, coming in as a third party, I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak, so coming in and navigate either growing pains in a meeting, like level 10 or EOS style meetings, but since this is a new realm, and the business that I worked for in the corporate world did not have community connections at all. So there's nothing I can feed off of there.
And specifically, I think I heard you say Orlando, correct? Or
Central Florida.
Central
I know
Florida?
Orlando, everyone talks about Orlando having all of the different conferences, and there's just, it's a conference hub for the Southeast outside of Atlanta. So if trying to break into that, and you never know who knows somebody.
True, very true.
All right.
Okay, so I have 2 quick things for you, and then we definitely need to have an offline conversation.
Love it.
Have you ever spoken at Rotary?
Rotary, no.
Okay, that's one of the best kept secrets, is whether they do a breakfast or a lunch or an evening, they always have a guest speaker.
Okay.
Just the one thing to keep in mind is it can't be a pitch. You got to go in and teach something,
You got
and then
it.
then you say what it is that you do as kind of a gentle pitch on the side.
Right.
So if you go out with an education, the people, they have to do it every week. They have to find a public speaker, and they start to run out of people. So that you could, do 15. You could pick up the phone one day and end up with 15 requests to speak. So just go on to the main Rotary site, and they'll list all the different ones around Orlando.
Okay.
And then, and usually in that listing will be the person who's responsible for booking the speakers. The other thing to try is, have you ever been to the Citrus Club, downtown Orlando?
I have not. I follow somebody on LinkedIn that does a lot of stuff there. So.
Okay, we'll talk. I'll introduce you to the manager, and that
Okay.
could be something to explore.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
So I think she's saying use what you already know about being a 1MC organizer to carry that through to Rotary. It sounds like it's kind of a similar situation, and I think Lancaster's got a great connection here, but I want to hear, like, from our town too, how different are we from West Volusia, from Orlando, from Lake County, especially with her ag background? So focus in on that and think about some of your connections that you know there.
So I met Jacqueline's about, 8 days ago at the Impact Orlando, but we haven't got a chance to coffee. I want to say explore NABO, National Association Business, Women's Business Owner.
Okay.
They're big in Orlando, and they can connect you with a lot of women in business. That is one aspect of it. But then once you get to one group, you're going to hear gazillion other groups. So, but that's just a start.
Okay, that's an awesome start. Thank you.
Excellent. Linka.
Good morning. We chatted briefly. Loved your journey.
Thank
I
you.
came here from Europe, so I totally understand what you went through, and I'm so impressed with what you've accomplished so far. My question would be, are you trying to connect with smaller groups like ours, where you go to educate as a volunteer, or is your target audience large conferences where you actually go to as a paid speaker, right? And I think that's a niche target that needs to, I don't know if I didn't pick up on it, that I would like to clarify to see and connect you with the right people. Because 1 Million Cups, completely different presentation and style, right? Versus going on the stage where you have a large room of thousands of people that it's actually a paid gig. So not really sure what you're targeting.
The main goal is to be on stages, paid speaker. So that's where my heart lies. But I want to do all the legwork in between and presenting to smaller companies or businesses. However, basically, in my eyes, that picture there of Ella is me speaking at Daytona Beach, Elevate Daytona Beach, which I absolutely love. There was at the News Journal Center in Daytona. So being on stage is kind of where I feel at home, and kind of sharing my mission and working on mental resilience. But I definitely do want to do the smaller businesses, because I think mental resilience trickles down to every person.
Sorry, I had to get out of the way of the camera in
The
the back.
force field.
First, great presentation. Couple of suggestions. And this is coming from a place of I've been in your shoes before, so I actually kind of know how to ramp that process up. First, it helps to be an expert speaker in a set area. So instead of approaching it from like the realm of there's all these conferences in Orlando, you would actually get traction faster if you found a key area. Like my background was emerging tech, and so I established myself as a financial expert in emerging tech, and then I ended up speaking on stages all over the world, which you said you like to travel, and by default that ended up plugging me in locally as well. So my first recommendation would be like, see if there's a specific area that you can key into and start applying to speak at every single conference you can find in that area. And then the second thing is, if you're not already podcasting, establish yourself as an expert through a podcast. As you gain followers, you can also use that to apply to speak at conferences anywhere, because you can show that you already have the chops for it.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, I've been a guest probably a dozen times, but need to bite the bullet and do my own.
How to be more visible. Do some free events, and then move to the next level.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's why I have there.
So banking on, or kind of expanding on what Amber said, what if you did have to pick kind of a target area that you would be most passionate about speaking on, you know, adding it, bringing it to right now?
It's definitely, you know, as the big umbrella would be motivational speaker, but narrowing that down as mental resilience. A speech that I shared with Lee when we were at Impact Orlando was "Make Lemons Cool Again." And life is going to hand you lemons, and it's not a matter of if, it's when, and whether they're gumdrop size or bowling ball size, they're coming at you. So it's a matter of not just tossing them in a backpack. We're all amazingly experts at compartmentalizing. You're like, I'll handle it later. So it's a matter of unpacking that and working through it. So that's that mental resilience.
Excellent.
So just a clarifying question, are you trying to build out like effective meeting EOS L10 implementation, or are you focusing more towards keynote presentations?
My heart is with keynote presentations. Somebody mentioned EOS to me and in a roundabout way as the way I ran a meeting, and they're like, oh, you'd be really good at this. I don't have the certifications. I can run a strict meeting. I can make it effective with a positive psychology spin to it. So I guess that's my angle if I was asked to go in and run a meeting. It's my husband's boss's connections that way, so that's how that filtered in.
Yeah, I just know that there's a very large market for EOS and effective meeting implementation. Mm-hmm. I will say I haven't seen it work well around here.
Right.
But it's probably more towards the urban areas that you see that working. There are a lot of people that need help with it. Effectively marketing that is extremely difficult. It's just running effective meetings, but if you can move your messaging towards that, if you're trying to seek out more of that work, I think that will land you more consistent work for year-long, 2-year-long projects rather than the single keynote that you're trying to renew yearly.
Right. Oh, for sure. I guess I walk around that carefully because I know there's certifications and there's trainings to throw EOS after your name and everything, and I don't have those. I feel like I have a whole other alphabet behind me. And I love learning. I feel like I'm a lifelong learner for the Jordan Peterson Academy. So I do want to get into it. Like I said, I mention it carefully because I don't want to mislead anybody with it outside of my passion for helping.
Don't say EOS, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I run effective meetings and I help you run effective meetings in your company. Maybe you just don't have the certification and the pathway that normal people will market through. Just come out as you and you help people be better.
Yes,
Nathan,
absolutely love it.
Knowing that is kind of an area of opportunity you see around here, can you expand on EOS a little bit, what that is? Just, especially if it's an opportunity around here, familiarize us with that.
Yeah, it's so there is a proper way to run a company and have effective meetings between leadership, and that's through a book called Traction. So if you read Traction, there's a lot of really good information there, but it teaches you how to actually run an EOS style company that focuses on certain meetings, certain plans. You have rocks, you complete those rocks throughout the time period. We actually paid someone around $30,000 to implement EOS in our company in our second year because I didn't want the inefficiencies and I wanted growth. One of the pain points for our customers is that we do grow and we do change, and that's through the EOS structure that we've implemented, whereas a lot of the companies that you probably deal with haven't changed in 5 years because they don't know how to implement that growth. So I know that we're not talking EOS specifically, but even just how to run a good meeting. I don't know how many partnership disagreements we've seen where having a neutral arbiter that's not of arbitration, like there's a lot of wins there.
Excellent. So that would be like the certification, the letters, as you said, behind your name for what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I would be able to go in, and I know there's a lot of meetings that, this could have been an email or this could have been a fight type thing. Like, it just depends on what's happening. But there's a lot of drama that gets pulled into meetings, and, what should have been a 30-minute meeting is now, towing at 65, 70 minutes because you're handling drama and nobody wants to kind of steer it back. So I guess that's where my strengths come in, is being able to be a neutral party to come in and keep people on the straight and narrow.
So are you a drama tamer?
I like it. You could start that rumor.
Yeah. You want to be sought after as a speaker, correct?
As a speaker, number one.
Yes, and you want to be paid, correct?
100%.
All right, there we go. Good. We're getting somewhere now.
If I could pay my bills on sunshines and hugs, I'd be really good. But
So any other suggestions, especially on that mental resilience for like our veterans and our law enforcement officers and our kind of our firefighters and public service folks?
Yeah, so you mentioned the mental resilience side, just like that. I attend a lot of conferences. I'm a firefighter over actually where you're from in Daytona. They have the Florida Hazmat Symposium. They also have Fire Rescue East. they always have some sort of presenter there. And once you get in there, the same people basically travel around. There's a big one in Boston, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. So they have them all over. So that may be a good thing to look into, are those associations, because the mental resilience part will definitely resonate well with that group of people.
Yeah.
So you can get with, some of the larger departments, Orange County, Orlando, and they would probably want something of that sort as well. There's a lot of newer firefighters, law enforcement coming into the industry that, like you said, right, they're stuck on their phone. They don't know how to push past certain aspects of the job that are pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So they may benefit from hearing something like that.
I love that. Thank you.
Yep.
Jacqueline,
That
what
worked
is
out well.
your special sauce? What makes you different than everybody else?
I would love to say, without sounding too cliche, it is my authenticity. I do speak from times that were pretty rock bottom for me. Like I said, my whole family was in Canada, so going through 2 divorces, having my life, and I joke and I quote Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but having my life turned upside down and having to navigate that and coming home alone and having to pick yourself up and go through one more day. Coming home alone, having to pick yourself up and go through one more day. So I do speak from a place, like no 2 journeys are the same, but the emotional roller coaster and upheaval that we go through is relatable. And how I unpacked that and worked through it and kind of offer to help other people with it is, I can give you the tools. One tool might work on one day, but another tool will work on another day. So that was actually my book that I published is the tools that I used. And it's not the same tool every day, but you have an arsenal to pull from as to whatever you're facing.
Excellent.
Yeah, as an actor, I found that auditions and things like that, mental resilience is a necessity. So you might want to look into contacting Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA, and maybe talking to them about presenting to the membership. Acting classes and things that are available at universities and things like that. Just not even from an acting standpoint, but just from a filmmaker standpoint, that high and low, that roller coaster you're talking about. One minute you're on top of the world, the next minute you can't buy a job. Right. And being able to understand how that all works. And as an actor, you have 1,000 doors slammed in your face before somebody finally hires you. And that's really hard to not take personally. You know what I mean? So the mental resilience, I think you could help people a lot with that.
I love that suggestion.
Great
Thank
suggestion.
you. Yeah.
So Ramona, Authentic Life Journey. I joined a group through One Woman.
Oh.
She's actually through Canada. So that might be some place to take a look at. She does conferences all around where you can go and present. And one of the things that she talks about is when you present at those women's conferences, jobs come out of them.
Right.
So it might be a good idea to look into some places like that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
And just so that you know, Glenn in our IT department back there is capturing all of this, and we'll run it through a program and make sure you get a good transcript, so all of these suggestions will be readily available to you, as well as your video if you want to go back and rewatch anything, just to make sure you get it all. So
I love that. Thank you so much.
great suggestions so far. Harry.
Yeah, I'm just listening. It's like, who would be interested in hiring you? You're enthusiastic. You've got something to share. There's a lot of good things there that you're talking about coming from a place that is not always easy and overcoming challenges. And you have experience in the wine industry. So my first thought, after thinking here, my first real thought is, how many people are in the wine industry that would benefit from what you've learned? And maybe you come up with a program that is, I can take your sales team, not just speak, but for the day, you have me for the day. So I present, and then I ride with your reps. And now I'm helping the company make money. I'm uncovering challenges inside of that business through the sales organization, and then look for conferences for the wine and restaurant industry, which you already know quite well. And see who's looking for, not necessarily speaking directly from as the keynote, but doing workshops, right? So now you get known inside that community as, say, where do you need help, instead of I present this, right? So that you're now more on the servant mindset, trying to figure out working together. Now you have collaboration going on. And I would look at that angle as the community of the wine and restaurant industry doing workshops, writing with sales. Then you can come up with a number of products there that should be able to sustain you.
That's awesome, Harry. Yeah, thank you. Because I have half a country of connections on that in the wine industry. So
Excellent. Yeah, restaurant industry is a great point. I think there's a lot of, speaking of emotional roller coasters and ups and downs in restaurant ownership, chef owners, those kinds of folks could definitely, and then you could drop some knowledge on some pairings, and there you go. Have a
Right.
good one. Fantastic, you guys. Anybody else?
What about the hospitality industry? Have you looked into that?
I have not.
No. Because Orlando is, I think, the hospitality capital of the world. Yeah?
We'll go
up
with
there.
it.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, exactly.
How about Four Roots down in Orlando? Have you checked on that one? They are nonprofit and they urban agriculture type of thing that they always have fundraising. They have sponsors that you can connect with them and even be a spokesperson for them.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did volunteer with, there was the All-American Firefighter Challenge that happened at Seminole State. So I volunteered to be a vendor there and talk to some of the families that came up about mental resilience, because we all know law enforcement or first responders. I'm on the list with the first All-American First Responders that does conferences. It's a nonprofit, so I can cover at least Florida for them. Like I said, it's because of them I get to say I live the American dream.
So you table events, some events, you're there on a table so that you get awareness to and visibility to what you do. How does that work?
Yes and no. I bake some really good cookies on my table.
Yeah.
But it's conversations. At the All-American Firefighter Challenge, it was families from all over the U.S. that flew in. So I got to talk with families from Wisconsin and Texas, and so that was pretty incredible, and hear family stories and stuff like that. So, but I know it's a marathon, I want to make sure I'm at least putting the feelers out in specific areas or following specific lanes that can help people.
Harry's suggestion of spending a day with a corporation or a nonprofit, is that something you might be interested in doing?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going around with the reps.
Do you have a contact information slide that we can? There you
There
go. Beautiful. One more QR code for us. Everybody grab Jacqueline's information here. If there's other things that you think about for afterward, or if you could see a place for a suggestion or even an interaction with her, there's that information. And we thank you very much. That was fantastic.
All right, thank you.
Jacqueline Powell, everyone. Thank you. Powell to empower. That's alliteration.
Yes.
PP.
I like it.
Yes. Oh, we have something else going on?
We do.
What?
We have
A surprise?
an extra shot today.
Oh my gosh, use our
Well,
extra
we do
shot.
need to ask Jacqueline our 1MC question, which I'm sure you're quite familiar with, but you'll receive your suggestions via transcripts from Glenn, but what's the one thing that we as a community going forward can do to help you?
I guess I've received so many amazing suggestions and some great feedback here. So hopefully I can make some connections here that are go beyond just today, and I can continue to support, reciprocate the support back. So I think that's a big community help right there.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jacqueline. We appreciate you presenting with us.